For better or worse, exams cause stress for students and professors. From a professor's point of view, it can be really difficult to write a good exam question that successfully measures student understanding without aiming too high or too low. From a student's perspective, it seems like the exam is just out to make your brain explode. That's really not true. Instead, exams should be one way to measure how well students grasp the material and help identify areas that need more attention. In this teachable moment, I will teach you how to construct a high-quality exam question using the method of Bloom's taxonomy. After viewing this video, the following should happen. Number 1, your study skills will improve. Number 2, you will be able to write a multi-layered question. 3, you will better anticipate what will be on the exam. And 4, your test anxiety will decrease, and you won't feel the need to ask the dreaded question.
Hey, ProfRomi, do I have to know this for the exam?
Do I have to know this for the exam?
Do I have to know this for the exam?
Do I need to know this for the exam?
Do you have to know this for the exam? Of course you do. That's the sarcastic response. However, what I really want to ask you is, what do you think? Do you think you should know this for the exam? I find that if students ask themselves this question, they have a better understanding for what's important. In my experience, the number one cause of exam stress for students is uncertainty about what will be on the exam. How do students become their own worst enemies in this regard? They, A, wait to the last minute to study. B, try to memorize every minute detail. C, fail to connect the dots and lose sight of the big picture. D, forget that they can practice the skill of test taking. Or E, all of the above. Of course, the answer is E. By the end of this video, you will have developed a skill to be put to use in class. I will use a subset of student-derived questions on the actual biodiversity exam. For me, the worst part about exams is the grading. It takes forever. And as a busy professor, I don't have a lot of time to cook. However, I have found that I like watching cooking shows while I grade. And when watching these cooking shows, I get a lot of inspiration for my teaching. I took some inspiration for writing exam questions from a famous TV chef, Emeril Lagasse. You might have seen him on the Food Network. Based on what you saw from Emeril Lagasse, I want you to think of a basic question and then kick it up a notch, and then another notch, and then another notch. After watching this video, you might ask yourself, what does this have to do with writing exam questions? Well, we can use Emeril Lagasse's BAM to make exam questions using Bloom's taxonomy. In a nutshell, Bloom's taxonomy, I'll probably call it Bloom's tax from now on, refers to a set of classifications for different student learning objectives, with higher objectives demonstrating more critical thinking skills. You can see the basic levels here. It starts with knowledge, then comprehension, application, analysis, synthesis, and finally, evaluation at the top. If you take a look at Bloom's taxonomy, make a note that knowledge is the most foundational level because you must have a working vocabulary to comprehend the importance of the information and conduct the higher levels of thinking. Often, memorization reflects the levels of knowledge and comprehension in Bloom's tax. In college biology, memorization will get you a C. Better understanding through connecting the dots brings you up to the B level, and putting your knowledge in a big picture umbrella represents A-level work. College-level exam questions, including mine in biodiversity, want more than just knowledge and comprehension. They want analysis, application, synthesis, and evaluation, all in one. To help you create your own questions, I have selected my favorite verbs that I use from Bloom's tax. Take note of these. For knowledge, draw, define, list. For comprehension questions, classify, describe, explain, summarize. In application, choose, illustrate, interpret. Analysis, compare and contrast, analyze, determine. For synthesis, design or create, compose, predict. And evaluation, evaluate, argue, defend or justify, and even recommend. Now, to demonstrate the BAM method for creating exam questions, I'm going to go through 3 examples. I find cartoons a great way to test student understanding of basic principles. So, take a look at this cartoon and think about where do you start. Start with the knowledge level. First, define antibiotic resistance. Then, kick it up a notch. Comprehension. Add a question to classify 2 ways in which bacteria become resistant to antibiotics. Then, kick it up a notch. Add application. Choose which of those 2 ways the cartoon depicts. Then, kick it up a notch one more time. Finally, you arrive at synthesis. Create a quick public service announcement that informs a non-science audience about superbugs. Now, bam, you have a high-quality exam question. See? It's easy. Just start with the basics and kick it up a notch. For this example too, I'll use different words from Bloom's tax in this question to illustrate the method and use a different topic. And I'll kick it up a notch and start with comprehension instead of just a knowledge base. So first, for comprehension, describe what you now think defines a species in 15 words or less. Make a note I already kicked it up a little notch by putting a constraint on the number of words you can use to answer the question. After that, kick it up a notch to the next level of Bloom's taxonomy. Analysis. Briefly compare and contrast how scientists define species in modern times versus when Darwin lived. Then, kick it up a notch one more time. Synthesis. Predict how scientists will define species 100 years from now. Then, kick it up a notch. End with evaluation. Evaluate the current truth behind Darwin's belief that no one definition has satisfied all naturalists. Yet every naturalist vaguely knows what he means when he speaks of a species. Now, bam, you have a high-quality exam question. See, it's easy. Just start with the basics and kick it up a notch. For example 3, I'll create one more general question that includes all 6 assessment types. Let's start with knowledge. List the 7 Protist supergroups. Easy peasy memorization. Next, comprehension. Classify them as animal-like, plant-like, or fungal-like, or any combination. Note, this question gets kicked up a notch by knowing which of the supergroups contain more than one functional type. Next, kick it up a notch using the Bloom's tax words. For application, choose your favorite Protist supergroup and illustrate its defining feature. Double bam, 2 Bloom's words in 1. Kick it up a notch. Level 4, analysis. Determine what the non-scientist should know about this supergroup. Kick it up to notch 5, synthesis. Create a tweet that informs the non-scientist about your favorite group. Then kick it up a notch one more time. Evaluation. Defend the value of Protist in preserving biodiversity using 3 key points or arguments. Now, bam, you have a high-quality exam question. Now, to recap, in this video, you should have learned how to create quality exam questions using the BAM method. And I want you to be able to kick them up a notch. Write a knowledge question and kick it up 3 times using the Bloom's taxonomy words provided in this video. You can even find more words if you simply Google Bloom's taxonomy and verbs. We will use these questions as an exam review session in class.